Shane opens a new beauty salon. He needs to hire some hairdressers and find these 3 candidates online. Bella has impressive experience. Tyler has recently won a prestigious award. Fiona specializes in hair coloring and has a nice Instagram profile. One of these candidates is a liar. Can you guess who? Bella says that she has 25 years of work experience. But according to her profile, she's only 22 years old. That's impossible. So she's the liar. Shane invites Tyler and Fiona to visit the hair salon for a job interview. He wants to test their intelligence and sends each candidate this map. Can you help them find the right destination? Take a closer look. These are English letters. To understand what's written on the map, you need to remove this icon. The hair salon is located over here. Fiona manages to find the beauty salon. Shane wants to test her skills and shows Fiona these 10 tubes of hair dye. Her task is to decide which color is different. Can you help her? This one. What about these 10 cubes? Can you sort one color out? The 5th one doesn't belong here. Shane decides to hire a cleaner for his hair salon, Bobby. Shane asks him to come every Wednesday, but they agree that Shane would pay Bobby $2 per day. But if Bobby would miss a day, he would have to pay Shane $3. After 15 weeks, it turns out that Shane owes Bobby as much as Bobby owes Shane. How many times did Bobby miss work? Bobby missed work 9 days and earned $18. But he also missed 6 days and lost the same amount of money. One day, Shane enters the hair salon and sees 2 clients. One of them is a runaway criminal. Can you guess who? The lady on the right just gets some styling. Meanwhile, the lady on the left is changing her hair color completely to look different. Therefore, she's a criminal. On Sunday, Shane throws a birthday party at home. He invites a bunch of people. In the midst of the event, Shane decides to show his friend his new diamond watch. But he realizes that it's gone. Shane is sure that the thief is among the guests. He identifies several suspects. Violet says, "I came here to keep an eye on my sister, so I was with her all the time." Jeanette says, "I arrived because I got stuck in a traffic jam. Everyone's on their way home from work. So annoying." And Mike says, "Sorry, I was so hungry that I didn't even leave the table." Who's a liar? Jeanette. People can't come back from work. The party takes place on Sunday. At the party, Shane serves 2 dishes with cookies. Can you find any differences between them? Here they are. This night, the beauty salon was robbed. The thieves didn't find any money. That's why they took expensive gadgets and some beauty products. The criminal boss gathers all the thieves in his office to decide what to do with the loot. Suddenly, the room becomes completely dark. When the lights turn on again, the thieves notice their boss unconscious on the floor. His assistant wants to find the guilty person as soon as possible, so he questions everyone. Jeff says, "I went to the toilet at that moment." Carl says, I was checking the stolen money in a special machine to sort out the fake ones. And Paul says,
I was drinking my coffee and got scared when the light went out.
Who attacked the boss? Carl said that he was going to check the money, but there was no money among the stolen items. Only gadgets, so he's a deceiver. The next morning, Shane enters the hair salon and learns about the robbery. He calls the police. The officer arrives very quickly and examines the crime scene, but he finds no signs of a break-in. He questions 3 witnesses. Fiona, the hairdresser, says, "Yesterday, I finished my last haircut at 5 p.m. and went home." Emma, the cleaner, says, "I finished cleaning at 8 p.m., locked all the doors, and went home." And Mia, the nail artist, says, "I had a day off because I was attending a birthday party." Who's lying? Mia. Take a closer look at her hands and the door. One of her false nails is missing because it's stuck in the lock. Shane is choosing new mirrors for his hair salon. Can you help him spot which mirror isn't fake? Only this one has a real reflection. One day, a foreigner enters the hair salon. He doesn't speak English and communicates with emojis. Can you guess his job? He's a radio host. Shane decides to take some pictures for the beauty salon's social media. Each worker strikes a pose. Can you see any difference between these 2 pictures? Here they are. Shane arrives at a new beauty product store. He gets lost in the basement and the door behind him slams shut. Shane needs to enter a 5-number code to open it. Can you help him crack the password? See this note next to the door? It's a clue. Count the number of corners for each shape and you'll get the code. 30465. Finally, Shane arrives at the beauty product store. He spots some weird things about this place right away. How many odd details can you spot? There's a ketchup bottle on a shelf with shampoo. The salesman has 4 hands. This poster advertises a 120% discount, which doesn't make any sense. And finally, this mirror is lying. Shane is walking down the store and sees something very curious on the floor. It's not alive, but it has 5 fingers. What is it? It's a glove. Shane is buying one thing. It comes from a mine and it's surrounded by wood. Everyone uses it. What is it? The correct answer is a pencil. Shane comes outdoors and faces these people. Who has a superpower? It's the guy on the right. On holidays, Shane invites his girlfriend to play hide-and-seek in the woods with his 3 friends. Suddenly, they find an abandoned house. Shane says, "Hide over there and I'll seek." In a couple of minutes, Shane finds his girlfriend unconscious on the floor inside the house. He questions his friends. Tyler says, "I hid in the courtyard behind the fountain." Pam says, "I decided not to play, and I was reading a book on the beach." Alex says, "I was playing in the garden among the roses." And Dylan says,
"I hid lying down behind the trees."
Shane asks everyone to show their hands. Can you guess who's guilty? Tyler. If he hadn't entered the house, his hands wouldn't have been rusty. Shane's brother Kyle is a rich businessman. They have dinner in a restaurant and meet 3 beautiful ladies. Kyle invites them to eat together. Bella is a promising model. She loves orange juice and dogs. Sheila is a divorced housewife. She has 1 little daughter. And Ella is a student and an Instagram blogger. She's in love with her car. That night, Kyle was robbed. One of the ladies stole a briefcase with $1 million. The police caught the ladies the next morning and knew immediately who did it. Can you guess who's the thief? Ella. Someone went shopping. Early in the morning, Shane opens the hair salon and faces an unpleasant surprise. Someone had knocked over a flower pot and left a mess all over the floor. Shane questions 3 suspects. Fiona says, "Yesterday, I had a date. I tidied up my workplace and left at 6 p.m. Bobby says, "I washed the entire place and left home at 8 p.m. My wife can confirm my words." And the new nail artist, April, says, "Yesterday, I didn't have any clients, so I was watching videos all day and left earlier." Can you guess who's guilty? It wasn't people who did it, but these 2 rats. Apparently, they got in at night.
You got accepted to the Academy of the Dark Peculiars, and today is your first day. You have to get settled into one of the 4 dormitories first. You especially want your room to be in the Lady Macbeth Hall, but only those who can answer this riddle can get to live there. I look very sorry when you feel sad, and I love to look happy if you're feeling glad. What am I? Well, can you answer it correctly? It's a mirror. You take your stuff to your new room in the Lady Macbeth Hall, where your new roommate awaits. You suddenly feel frustrated because she is playing pop music loudly inside the room. You hate that. She walks to you excitedly and says, "Hi, roomie, I have a feeling we're going to be best friends." You say, "Not a chance unless you turn this music off." She replies, "I can do that if you answer this riddle and guess my name correctly." Squeeze this, and it cries tears as red as its flesh, but its heart is made of stone. What is it? Do you know the answer? The answer, therefore your new roommate's name, is Cherry. In the evening, there's an orientation dinner for all the students. You walk to the buffet to grab something to eat. There are 3 food options to choose from. The first one is a casserole. The second one is stuffed turkey. And the third one is a club sandwich. Which one should you choose? Do you see what the turkey is stuffed with? It's a mixture of dust, dirt, and soil, so I bet that you wouldn't want to ruin your stomach with that. As for the club sandwich, the lettuce inside it is rotten. That's a pass. Those little black balls inside the casserole might look like bugs, but they're actually black pepper pieces, so it's the best option. You're not the type to socialize, so you sit and eat your dinner alone. A guy approaches you and sits next to you. "Hi, I'm Xander Barkley. What's your name?" "That's not something you should concern yourself about," you say. but he's not disheartened by your cold attitude and he insists on knowing. You say, "Since everyone is such a riddler around here like my roommate, I'll give you a riddle for that, and if you can answer it correctly, you'll know my name. What day would yesterday be if Thursday was 4 days before the day after tomorrow? Can you help Xander out?" The answer is Friday. The next day, right before the first classes of the new semester start, the principal makes an announcement. "Hello, students. I regret to inform you that one of your classmates, Xander Barkley, has gone missing. If anyone has any information on where he might have gone, please visit my office. Thank you." You look around the room and you immediately spot 3 people who look like they might know a thing or two about Xander's disappearance. Take a closer look at them and tell me which one actually might know Xander. Do you see the ring that the second guy is wearing? It's the same ring Xander was wearing when he came next to you to ask you your name. That surely must mean something. That's why you decide to follow him as he rushes out, panicked. He sneaks through the halls and stops in front of a creepy statue. Then, in the blink of an eye, you lose sight of him. You go examine the spot to figure out where he might have disappeared. Do you see anything strange? There's some kind of a message written on the book that the statue is holding. You read it. "I don't have eyes, but once I did see. Once I had thoughts, but now I'm white and empty. What am I?" Do you know the answer? It's a skull. You look at the skull that the statue is holding with his other hand. You pull it and a secret tunnel appears behind the statue. You walk into the darkness. You come across 3 different staircases that each lead to a different direction. Which one should you follow? Remember the ring both Xander and the suspicious guy were wearing? The same image that was on the rings is engraved on the first step of the second staircase, so it should be a hint for you to follow that one. You follow the stairs and end up in a creepy library. The suspicious guy comes out from a corner and asks, "Why are you following me?" You say, "I know you have some kind of information on where Xander could have disappeared." He says, "You have to answer this riddle correctly if you want me to trust you." Who makes it does not need it. Whoever buys it has no use for it. Who uses it can neither. What is it? Do you know the answer? That's easy, you say. It's where I sleep every night. It's a casket. Xander was my roommate. He's been talking about a cabin in the woods, but I know nothing of it. You can come and check our room and search for anything that might help. You go into their room and take a look around. Do you notice anything strange? If you take a closer look at the study desk, you can see a corner of a map hanging out of the drawer. This might be the map to the cabin in the woods that Xander's roommate was talking about. The direction of the map is an enigma. As you try to figure out how to read it, Cherry enters the room crying. "I can't believe they both went on vacation without me this summer." Then she shows you Instagram selfies of 2 girls, both posing at the beach. One of them is a vampire, therefore her photo is fake, since she can't be walking under the sun. Can you tell which one? It's the girl on the right. Can you see these green spots? She used a green screen to Photoshop herself on a sunny beach location. That should somehow be a consolation for Cherry. However, you notice something that can be useful for you to solve this whole Xander mystery. In the photo of the girl who really went to the beach. What is it? Do you see the hand standing on the shoulder of the girl? That means there was another person there posing with her when she was taking the photo, and whoever that is has the same ring on one finger. These people must all belong to a society or something. You find the girl in the hopes that she might help you get some answers. You question her and learn that indeed they belong to a secret society. But she tells you that the only way she will give you answers is if you join them. And the only way to do that is by answering her riddle correctly. She asks, a warrior in the flowers with a sword. He'll use it if he must, to defend his gold hoard. What is it? The answer is bees. She says, welcome to the Night Bees Society. She explains to you that she doesn't know where Xander might be, but tells you that the shapes on the map are actually letters. So, now that you know this information, can you decipher what words are written on the map? When you complete the shapes into letters, the first word you get is north. The second word is east. The third word is south. And the fourth word is west. So now you have directions to find the cabin.
Yes!
You follow the map and find the cabin in the dark woods. On the ground, you see Xander's broken ring. Oh no, he must be hurt. Some kind of danger must be lurking inside the cabin. Take a look around, and can you tell what it might be? Do you see the scratches next to the door? And there's a full moon. These signs suggest the existence of a werewolf. The werewolf comes out of the cabin, howling, but you don't run away. Why? See that neon blue streak in his hair? Xander had that too, so it must be him. Today, I only have 2 riddles for you, but they're not going to be easy. Let's see if you can crack them. On a remote island, there are 10 inhabitants. All of them are perfect logicians, always making the most rational choices. Problem is that they have been imprisoned on the island since birth, and there's no escape. Still, any prisoner can approach a guard at night and ask to leave the island. If the person has green eyes, they'll be allowed to leave. If their eyes aren't green, they'll be tossed into a volcano. So, of course, no one ever took the risk. But the thing is that all 10 of them have green eyes, but none of them knows that. And there's no way to find it out. They have been living there all their lives without any mirrors or reflections. They see each other every day during the morning lineup and see each other's eye color, but they're not allowed to communicate. One day, a new guard decided to help them by making a seemingly harmless announcement. At least one of you has green eyes. On the 10th night, all prisoners have left. How did they figure it out? Feel free to pause the video and think about it. Okay, let's play the situation out as if there were just 2 prisoners, Ava and Ben. Both of them have green eyes, but they don't know their own eye color. When they hear your statement, Ava and Ben see the eye color of the other one, but don't have the confidence that their own eyes are green too. The night passes, and of course, none of them leaves. When they both see each other the next day, they realize something. Ava realizes that if Ben saw that she didn't have green eyes, he would understand that the one person with green eyes was him and would have left the island that night. But he didn't. It makes Ava realize that Ben saw her green eyes and wasn't sure. So, Ava figures that if she has green eyes, Ben's logic works the exact same way, and he figures that his eyes are green too. So, now they both know it, and the second night, they both leave. Now, if there were 3 people on the island, Ava, Ben, and Kara, each of them sees 2 green-eyed people, but they aren't sure if the other 2 people also see 2 green-eyed people or just 1. So no one leaves the first night. In the morning, they see each other again, but they still can't be sure about their own eye color. Kara thinks that if her eyes aren't green, then Ava and Ben were watching one another, like in the scenario with 2 people when they only figured out the eye color after 1 night. So, now that the night has passed, if it's just them who have the green eyes, they must have figured it out and will leave the second night. But in the morning, everyone is still there, so Kara realizes that Ava and Ben weren't just watching each other, but Kara too. So she must have green eyes too. Ava and Ben had the same logic going on and came to the same conclusion about themselves. So, on the third night, all three of them leave. The logic will be the same regardless of the number of prisoners. In the case of 10 of them, each will see 9 green-eyed people and will wonder if other people see 9 or 8 green-eyed people. Assuming their own color is not green, they'll be observing the behavior of others for 9 nights, because that's the time 9 green-eyed people would need to figure out they are all green-eyed. But when on the morning after the 9th night everyone is still there, each one of them realizes that they had green eyes too, and they all leave on the 10th night. It's interesting how the information everyone already had anyways becomes a powerful key to escape. It happens because once announced, everyone starts keeping track of others and their behavior, motivated by the same goal. This 100-story building is an egg museum with one valuable egg presented on each floor. The city's most reckless criminal, Jade, already has her eye on it. She wants to steal an egg, but now she needs to figure out which one. You see, eggs vary. The first floor has the least valuable egg, and every next floor has a more expensive one than the one before it, up to the 100th floor, storing the most valuable one of them. Jade's plan is to sneak into the building, take an egg, and throw it out the window of the floor where it is stored. Her assistant, a monkey, will pick it up from the ground and will hide it safely. Of course, there are a few problems with this plan. First, an egg can break when it hits the floor. So even though Jade wants the most expensive egg, if it breaks from falling off the 100th floor, it'll have no more value. So, Jade has to steal the most valuable egg that won't break from its trip down the building. She has 2 perfect replicas. They are not valuable, but she can use them to test the strength of the museum's egg by throwing them out of the windows. One way to do it is to start from the first floor and go up 1 floor until she finds the highest floor where an egg survived. But this can take up to 100 throws, and of course it'll draw a lot of unnecessary attention to her. So, she needs to find the most valuable egg that's possible to steal, having as little number of tests as possible. What should be Jade's strategy? I'll give you time, but feel free to pause the video to think. Here are the conditions once again. There are 100 floors with 100 eggs. The first floor has the least valuable egg, and the 100th floor has the most valuable one. Still, eggs on all floors are equally sturdy. Jade has 2 replica eggs that aren't valuable but are absolutely identical to the museum's eggs in terms of sturdiness. Once a replica is smashed, it can't be used anymore. There are just 2 replicas and more can't be obtained. Every egg will break if dropped from above a certain floor. Every egg will survive when dropped from every floor below the critical floor. Jade wants to steal the egg from the highest floor so it won't break when dropped using the least number of tests. As we've discussed, dropping a replica from each floor one by one, starting with the lowest one, is a good strategy. But Jade will probably get caught before she even establishes the floor. She can't use this strategy, but has 2 replicas, and she can take advantage of it. She can throw the first egg from the floors with a larger interval to narrow down the range of possible critical floors. As soon as the first replica breaks, the critical floor will be found from there down until the floor that was safe right before it. So, the second replica will help to find the particular floor in that range. Okay, but how do you do it? If the initial intervals are too large, then when the first replica breaks, there will be too big of a range to find the critical floor, and Jade will have to perform many tests with the second egg. So, smaller intervals are better, but not too small. Let's go every 10 floors. So, Jade will start throwing from the 10th floor, then 20th, 30th, and so on. Once it breaks, she'll use the second egg and will start dropping it from the lowest floor of that last range up. So, if the first egg smashed when falling from the 70th floor, with the second egg, she will test the floors from 61 to 69. This strategy will require 19 drops in the worst-case scenario, when the first egg only smashed on the 10th floor, and then Jade used 9 more tries to investigate floors 91 through 99. But it's possible to do even better than 19. Let me show the idea to you on the example of a 10-story building. It's possible to investigate all 10 floors with just 4 drops of 2 eggs. If we divide it into sections like these, the first egg is dropped from the 4th, 7th, 9th, and the 10th floors. If it breaks when falling from the 4th floor, we'll need a maximum of 3 more drops to test floors 1, 2, and 3. If it survives the 4th floor and smashes on the 7th, then exactly 2 more drops are needed to test floors 5 and 6. If it smashes when dropped from the 9th floor, then the 4th try is used to test the 8th floor. All 4 tests will be needed if the egg test reaches the 10th floor. The same can be done with a taller building. We just need to think of the proper division of the 100-story building into sections, where no matter which floor is critical, it always takes a particular number of throws to find it. And yes, the number of throws should be less than 19. Each interval should be 1 floor less than the previous one, since that one will be the attempt to go to the higher interval. So, if the first interval is n, then the next interval of the floor will be n-1. The one after that is going to be n-2, and so on. The last interval, of course, will be 1. And the sum of those intervals should be 100, like the number of floors in the building, or a bit higher, in case it can't perfectly be divided. We can solve the equation by plugging every n starting with 1 until it becomes correct. And it becomes correct at step 14, when n is equal to 14. So this is our first drop, floor 14. Every next interval should be 1 floor less, so the next test floor is 14 plus 13. That's equal to 27. Then there's 39, 50, 60, 69, 77, 84, 90, 95, 99, 100. With this division, it'll take no more than 14 tests to find the eggs that survive the highest floor.
Kitty runs a dance show. She arrives in Finland with the 3 best dancers to perform during the Christmas holidays. On the first day of their trip, Kitty was found unconscious in the hotel room. Doctors claim that someone had poisoned her. The police interrogate all the dancers. Kira says,
My colleagues and I left the hotel early in the morning to explore the city,
and Kitty stayed in the room for a conference call.
I had a date with my online boyfriend, Mikkel.
Pam says,
I went to the beach to sunbathe and swim. When I returned, I saw Kitty on the floor.
And April says,
I went to the museum alone. Nobody wanted to join me.
Who's lying? Pam, it's Christmas Eve, so it's too cold in Finland. She couldn't swim in the sea.
Oh no!
The police arrested Pam, and now Kira and April urgently need to find a new dancer for their show. They look through some profiles online and select these 3 ladies, Deborah, Sally, and Lily. But only one of them isn't fake. Can you guess who? Deborah's profile looks good, but take a closer look at the shadow in her picture. Her head is photoshopped to a different person's body, therefore, she's fake. And according to the 3rd lady's birth date, she hasn't been born yet, so they should choose Sally. April, Kira, and Sally are performing in a music hall, but first, they go to the dressing room to prepare. Suddenly, the local security guard comes in and announces, "Stay where you are! We have to recheck all the luggage! There's a runaway criminal among the actors." Here's the luggage left by 4 guys who are playing Santas. Can you spot the criminal? Santa never shaves, so the second luggage looks pretty suspicious because it has shaving cream. The remaining 3 Santas open the performance. They look absolutely identical in their costumes. After the show, they go backstage and take off their beards and hats to drink some coffee. This is Carl, Peter, and George. After the break, they put on the costumes again and go to the after party. Can you decide which one of them is Carl? Carl was mixing sugar in his coffee with his left hand. It means that he's left-handed. And this Santa signs an autograph with his left hand. Therefore, he's Carl. After work, Kira and April go to the local parade. Can you help them find a sheep among all these Santas? There it is. What about these reindeers? Can you see any bears among them? Hello? Kira and April enter a shopping mall and face 4 Santas buying gifts for their families. Meanwhile, the mall security guard receives a call from the police. A mysterious thief in a Santa suit has robbed multiple gift shops. They figured out that this mall should be next. The guard asked everybody to stay where they are. Can you help him find the criminal? It's the 3rd Santa. He's hiding a couple of crowbars in his bag. Also, his beard and mustache are different from the other Santas. Kira and April decide to throw a party in the hotel room. April decorates the room and sets up the Christmas tree. Meanwhile, Kira cooks dinner and prepares gifts for 3 people: Thomas, Sally, and Mikkel. The guests arrive and the party begins. At some point, they notice that someone has stolen all the gifts. Kira believes it must be one of the guests, so she questions everyone. Every guest makes 2 statements, 1 truth and 1 lie. Thomas says, "I wasn't in the room when it happened. I know Mikkel stole the gifts." Sally says, "Mikkel stole them. I saw it. I already have enough presents." And finally, Mikkel says, "I didn't steal the gifts." Thomas tells the truth. He wasn't in the room. Who stole the Christmas gifts? If Thomas is the thief, both of his statements would have been false, and if Mikkel is the thief, then all of Thomas's statements would have been true. Therefore, Sally stole the gifts. Frank is staying in a hotel room next to Kira. The day before Christmas Eve, she knocks on his door to borrow some toothpaste. The door is open, and Frank is lying unconscious on the floor. Later that day, doctors figured out that he was poisoned. Kira questions 3 people. All of them are Frank's roommates. Jeff says, "Today I've had dinner with my girlfriend. I only saw Frank in the morning, and he was feeling great." Thomas says, "We had breakfast with Frank in his room this morning. He was in a great mood." And Ellie says, "I've just returned. I had to buy gifts for my family, so I've been shopping all day." Who poisoned Frank? The screensaver is out of date. Frank left a hint with his enemy's name. It was Thomas. Kira, April, Mikkel, and Frank rent a cozy country house to celebrate Christmas. April bakes gingerbread men cookies and leaves them to cool down on the kitchen table. She hasn't applied the frosting yet. So, she asks the others to stay away from the cookies. April goes upstairs to change. In 10 minutes, she returns and sees that someone took a bit off every cookie. April gets furious. She asks the others, "What were you doing within the last 10 minutes?" Mikkel replies, "I was building a snowman outside. I have no idea what was going on in the house." Frank says, "I was decorating the Christmas tree with these balls." And Kira replies, "I was watching my favorite movie in the bedroom. It was so loud that I didn't hear anything." April already knows who's lying. What about you? Frank is lying. There's no balls on the tree. Santa comes home earlier and finds his elf Bobby on the sofa. He's bewitched by an eternal sleep spell. Santa asks the other elf, Chuck, a question.
"What happened here? Only you 2 were at home."
Chuck replies,
"We were packing the gifts and decided to have a lunch break. Suddenly, I heard a loud sound outdoors and ran out to see what was up. I spent about 20 minutes there, and then I returned back home. Bobby was already unconscious."
Santa calls Chuck a liar. Why? Chuck said he spent 20 minutes outdoors, but the coffee cups are still hot. He bewitched Bobby and staged the scene. Kira comes home to her family's house. She's looking forward to eating the walnut cookies she bought at the airport, but she has to eat them outside because her mother is allergic to all types of nuts. After a while, Kira looks inside her bag and sees that all the cookies are gone. Kira suspects her brothers, so she asks,
Who ate my cookies?
Dylan replies, "I was making apple pie with Mom." Paul says, "I was decorating the living room." Kevin says,
I was making a sandwich with peanut butter for Mom.
and Ralph says,
I was just watching the TV and eating my popcorn.
now Kira knows who took her cookies. What about you? Kevin is lying. They have the same mother, and as we mentioned earlier, she's allergic to all nuts. During the family dinner, Dylan receives an email and begins to cry. Kira asks,
What's wrong?
Dylan replies,
I'm a beginner photographer, and I've sent my best picture to the photo contest. I was expecting to win the first prize, but they disqualified me.
"Can you figure out why just by looking at this picture?" The stars are over the moon. It's impossible. Kira is looking for her mother all over the house, but someone used black magic to turn her into a statue. There's a note nearby. It only has a question mark written with green pencil. Kira decides to question the Green family next door. Zelda says,
I was painting in the attic as usual.
Oliver says, "I was cooking soup for my family." Mark says, "I was looking for my missing cat downtown." And Wanda says,
I was playing video games in the basement and heard nothing.
"Who cursed Kira's mom?" The clue literally says, "?Green."
A rich lady booked into one of the best hotels in the city. When she got her key, she noticed that her bags had been stolen.
Oh no!
The police interrogated 3 main suspects. Mr. Kramer said, "I'm going to see my friends now. I've spent the day in my room." Mrs. Harrelson said, "I wouldn't steal anything. I'm rich." Mr. Scott said, "I've been walking my dog and have just returned. I know nothing about it." Who is the criminal? Have you noticed the sign, "No pets allowed," on the hotel door? This hotel has a no pets policy, so Mr. Scott couldn't walk his dog. They wouldn't have checked him in with one. Riley is studying abroad and has a boyfriend her family doesn't know about. Her parents don't approve of dating until she graduates. Riley spent the semester break with her boyfriend on his family's farm, but she told her parents that she had been in New York with her friends. When her mother asked for photos, Riley photoshopped herself into one of her friend's photos. When her mom saw the photos, she understood that Riley had lied. How? Look, Riley is the only person in the photo who doesn't have a reflection in the mirror behind. This is what gave her away. Mrs. Brown is the owner of an apartment building with a no-pet policy. Not even fish are allowed. One night she hears a dog barking on the floor above her apartment. The next day she inspects 2 apartments upstairs. In which apartment does the dog live? Look, there is a dog leash hanging in this apartment. It must be the one. Even after the tenant with the dog had moved out, Mrs. Brown kept hearing some barking. She thought it was phantom noises, but a week later she decided to check 2 more apartments. Take a close look at them and try to figure out if a dog lives one of them. Yes, a dog lives in this apartment. Look, there is a dog hair all over the bed. Jane came home from school, looking forward to eating her favorite waffles she had prepared in this morning. Unfortunately, someone had eaten half of them. Furious, she questioned two people in the house, her friend and her dad. Both of them were sitting at the kitchen table. Both denied having touched her food. Who lied? Her father lied. Look, there are waffle crumbs in his mustache. Alice participated in a game show and she won 3 exclusive gifts: a Dolce & Gabbana wallet, a backpack from Dior, and a Tesla. But here is a catch. She is to pick her presents herself by choosing between the original and the replica. Can you help her pick the correct prizes? Here are 2 Dolce & Gabbana wallets. One of them is the original and the other is a replica. Which one should Alice choose? This one, it has the correct logo, so it must be the original. Now look at these seemingly identical backpacks. Only one of them is the original Dior bag. Which one? This one. This logo is correct. And finally, the car. Let's see if you remember the Tesla logo. Yes, this is the one. Great job! Daniela graduated from FBA Academy and applied for a job at several secret agencies. She got an acceptance letter from one of them, but it didn't contain any instructions. In the end, there was a number. She tried to call it, but it turned out it didn't exist. Take a look at the acceptance letter. Can you help Daniela figure it out? It's a secret message, of course, and figuring it out is one of the tasks. Daniela should pay attention to the highlighted words. Then, from each of them, she should take the letter that corresponds with the number at the bottom of the page. If she does it, she'll see Small Lake at 11. Daniela got the job, and now she's on her first case. Amelia's cat was stolen, and she asked Daniela to find it. Daniela paid a visit to several neighbors and questioned them. Jake said, "I have 2 dogs. I wouldn't steal a cat." Mike said, "I don't like animals, so I'd never get a pet." And Jessica said, "I'm not even allowed to have pets in this apartment." Who stole Amelia's cat? Have you noticed a cat house in Mike's apartment? Why does he have it if he doesn't like pets? He must be the catnapper. Another day, another crime. Daniela was following a shoplifter who had stolen an expensive purse from a Louis Vuitton store. Suddenly, the criminal entered a hospital and disappeared into the crowd. Daniela went inside. She saw 3 visitors. One of them must be the shoplifter pretending to be a patient. Can you tell who it is? It must be this woman. That young woman is pregnant, and this one is wearing high heels, so she wouldn't have been able to run fast. On Monday morning, a big sum of money went missing from the accountant's safe, and Daniela arrived to investigate. She had 3 suspects. John said, "I was in my office all morning because I needed to do some urgent work." Elizabeth said, "I was drinking my morning coffee in the cafeteria and answering emails." And Julia said, "I was in my office finishing some tasks I didn't have time to do yesterday." Who should be Daniela's main suspect? Julia. She mentioned some tasks left from the day before, but it was Sunday. Danielle was spending her Sunday in a theme park when she heard two people arguing. It turned out they were arguing over the car keys left in the park's lost and found. Both were claiming them. Take a close look at them and decide who the keys really belong to. The guy is blind, so the car keys must belong to this woman. Danielle stayed in the park and she had to crack some more cases that day. She needs your help, so have a look. Another lost and found item is this iPhone. Who do you think it belongs to? This girl's phone is in her pocket, so the iPhone most likely belongs to the other woman. And the last item is a Louis Vuitton purse. Two girls are claiming it, but who is the rightful owner? Look, the purse has a keychain with the name Ella. It's the name of the girl on the right. At least that's what her name tag says, so the purse must belong to her. Ned works in a club. His job is to check people's ID cards and not to let any suspicious people in. Take a look at these IDs and figure out who isn't supposed to enter the club. So here's the first one. What would you say about this man? Don't let him in. The man was born on the 3rd of February, but this date doesn't even exist. It must be a fake ID. Okay, here's the next candidate. What's your verdict? He seems fine. He can come in. Okay, here's the next guest. In or out? What do you think? She seems fine for me. Okay, next. Luke, what is your decision regarding this one? Look, in the picture the woman has a birthmark on her cheek, but in reality she doesn't have any. That's suspicious. Don't let her in. Okay, another one for you. Look, the city isn't specified here. It just says Nevada. It's not what other IDs look like. So this one must be fake. I wouldn't let her in. And what about this girl? Would you let her in? She seems alright. Green light.
Jenny and Ben were about to get married. They wanted to book a hotel for their wedding ceremony in the party. So they went to a wedding planner to look at some options. She told them only 3 hotels were available for the day they wanted and showed them the pictures. Which one should they choose? Take a closer look at the 3rd floor windows of the first hotel. In the last window on the right, there's a creepy shadow of a monster that appears and disappears. 5 stars or not, no one would like to get married in a haunted place unless they're an Addams Family member. In the 3rd hotel, only has 2 stars. It probably doesn't have the facilities to host a wedding, so the best choice is the 2nd hotel. Great choice, the wedding planner said, and you're in luck because they actually have a great discount offer. If you can answer this riddle correctly, you won't have to pay for the ballroom rental. Here it is. Those who have it, do not say it. Those who take it, do not know it. Those who know it, do not want it. What is it? Do you know the answer? It's fake money. The next day, Ben and Jenny went to the hotel to pick the best ballroom for their party. The hotel manager took them to 3 different rooms where they could host everything, from the ceremony itself to the dinner and after party. Which one should they pick? Do you see a little mouse hole in the corner of the first ballroom? The couple wouldn't want such uninvited guests at their party. As for the second ballroom, the chandelier looks like it might fall down any minute. Not the safest option, so they should pick the third ballroom. It was time for Ben and Jenny to pick the wedding menu. Since they were not paying for the venue, they wanted to spare no expense in serving food that the guests would never forget. That's why they called 3 different Michelin star chefs. Each of them prepared a different dish and presented them for a tasting. Which chef, and therefore which dish, should they go for? Even though the dish the second chef made looks perfectly fine, do you see a rat's tail hanging from his chef's hat? There must be some ratatouille situation going on there. So that's a pass. The third dish looks like spaghetti, right? Well, look again. Those are actually very thin snakes. Exotic flavors might not be the best option, so they better go with the classical burger that the first chef made. Before they made their wedding vows, Jenny had to say yes to a dress. So, she went to a couture store to check their wedding gown collection. She explained to the designer the style of the dress she wanted for her ceremony. The designer said he had just the perfect gown for her and would bring it to her if she answered his riddle correctly. He asked, if a gown takes an hour to dry, how many hours will it take 6 dresses to dry? It'll still take 1 hour because they'll all dry at the same time. Ben had one last item to buy on his wedding shopping list, and it was what fastens 2 people yet touches only one. Can you figure out what it is? It's a wedding ring, of course. Ben headed to a jewelry store to get something blue for his bride. The store owner showed him 3 different wedding rings with blue gemstones. Which one should he buy? The second ring has an engraving inside, so it must have belonged to someone else before. The gemstone on the third ring has a tiny crack in it. That can only mean it's made of glass or even plastic. So, Ben should buy the first ring with a sapphire. Next, Ben and Jenny were going to send out invitations. One print shop offered them 3 different versions of invitations. Which one should they choose? Do you remember the name of the hotel they booked? It was Sunrise Lodge, but the first invitation says Sunset Lodge. So this one won't do. And on the third invitation, their names are printed as Benny and Jen. That's not our couple, so they should choose the second invitation. Before the wedding, 3 of their friends paid them a visit. One of them brought a painting as a wedding gift, but all 3 claimed that they were the artist who had created it. 2 of them must be lying. Can you figure out who the actual artist is? Take a look at the signature on the painting. It says Denise. Now look at the third friend's necklace. It has the letter D, so she must be Denise, the artist who painted the painting. It was finally the day of the wedding, and Ben and Jenny's guests started to arrive. However, the hotel security spotted 3 suspicious-looking people who could be uninvited. Take a look at these 3 guys. Can you tell which one is not supposed to be at the wedding? Do you see the hotel wristbands that say Ben and Jenny that the second and the third guys are wearing? That can only mean they are actually invited. So it's the first guy who's crushing the wedding. Sorry, dude, no free drinks for you. After the vows were exchanged, it was time to party. As Ben and Jenny were dancing, someone spilled their drink on Jenny's dress, but no one saw who it was. Jenny spotted 3 people who could have done it. Take a look at them. Can you tell who ruined her dress? The first guy has spots on his shirt that resemble stains from the spilled drink, but they are actually part of the pattern, so it can't be him. The third lady looks clean, but the hem of the second lady's skirt looks dirty, so it must be her who did it. After the ceremony ended, Ben and Jenny wanted to take a photo to capture the moment forever. But take a look at it. There's something strange about it. Can you spot what it is? Can you see a woman hiding behind the trees watching them? She is wearing a witch hat, but it's a wedding ceremony and not a costume party. Creepy. Right before leaving, Jenny suddenly vanished. Then the witch suddenly appeared in front of Ben and said, "You may only kiss the bride if you figure out with whom you really tied the knot. Ha ha!" Then 2 Jennys appeared in front of Ben. Can you tell which one is his real wife? Remember the wedding photo? The Jenny on the left is the real one because her tattoo is on the same side as in the photo. Now that Ben and Jenny's wedding was over, phew, it was time for them to pick a honeymoon destination. They went to a travel agency to book a tour. The travel agent offered them 3 different holiday destinations: Ibiza, Cannes, in the Caribbean. Which one should they go to? Have you noticed the weather forecast on TV in the office? It states that the weather in Ibiza is going to be windy in the upcoming days, and in Cannes, it's going to be rainy. So they should pick the Caribbean and enjoy the sun. The travel agent said she could upgrade their plane tickets to business class for free. It would be her wedding gift to them. But they had to crack this riddle. What can travel around the world while staying in a corner? It's a stamp.